Time for your daily dose of automotive news. Grab your coffee, tea, or whatever snack gets you going, and let's dive into what's driving the world today.
The SUV that forced Tesla to blink didn't come from Detroit, Berlin, or even Shanghai. It came from a smartphone giant. In a single launch day, Xiaomi's YU7 rewired the Chinese EV playbook, pulled in a breathtaking wave of orders, and almost overnight made the Model Y look vulnerable. Not obsolete, not defeated, but vulnerable in a way that should make every automaker sit up. Today, we're not just recapping a spec sheet. We're following the pressure lines, where demand moved, where perception shifted, and where the next price war could explode. Because if you want to understand the future of electric SUVs, the front line isn't in California. It's in China, where the YU7 just kicked open a door Tesla thought it had double-locked. Let's start where the ground actually shook. The ambush. First, the hit. June 26th. Xiaomi walks on stage and says, "Here's our second car, the YU7. Price? Aggressive. Lower than Model Y." The message wasn't subtle. It was the kind of launch that tells your rival, "We studied your bestseller, and we're coming right for it." The order surge was instant, not a marketing flourish. A genuine shockwave that turned into a queue stretching across the calendar. You could see the grin on tech forums. You could hear the nervous cough in auto boardrooms. In one move, Xiaomi didn't try to nibble around the edges. It went straight at the middle of the market, the same sweet spot that made Model Y the default answer for a family EV in China. Why did it land so hard? Because pricing isn't just a number. In this fight, price is a signal. It says we know exactly where the pain point is, and we're prepared to compress it. When a new contender walks in with undercut pricing and the kind of hype you normally see around a new phone, it reframes expectations. Suddenly, "I'll get a Model Y" becomes "maybe I should wait, or at least compare." And that's all you need to redirect traffic. Not to win outright, just to slow the incumbent enough to change the math. But a launch is just noise until the numbers start to bend. The numbers start moving. Weekly insurance registrations aren't sexy. They're not glossy ads or influencer reels. They're a pulse. And lately, that pulse has been telling a simple story. Xiaomi is climbing. Tesla is still ahead, but the gap isn't immune. Look week to week and you'll see the rhythm. One week Tesla surges, the next Xiaomi inches closer. It's a dance, but the pattern is clear. YU7 is adding real volume, fast, and it's doing it while the Model Y's summer tempo in China has cooled from its earlier peaks. That's the pressure Electrek flagged. Visible enough that you don't need a microscope to spot it. Zoom out and the picture sharpens. July's retail tally for Model Y stepped down. Year-to-date registrations have drifted lower versus last year. None of this screams collapse. It whispers something more dangerous. Softness. The sort of softness a sharp rival can turn into a bruise if production, pricing, and momentum align. And Xiaomi isn't just chasing a stat. It's coming with hardware that rewrites the expectations list. So let's open the hood on the thing that's actually winning hearts. The YU7's toolkit. The weapons. The YU7 isn't winning buzz because of a logo. It's winning because the spec sheet reads like a checklist of everything buyers told forums they wanted. 800-volt architecture for fast, repeatable charging. Acclaimed 835-kilometer CLTC range in the long-leg RWD trim. Charging claims that promise you can add hundreds of kilometers over a coffee run. Add LiDAR to the sensor stack, then talk up an NVIDIA Drive Thor brain with big number compute for driver assist. Tie it all together with HyperOS, Xiaomi's connective tissue that makes the car feel like part of your phone, your home, your life. That last bit matters. Because this isn't just a car versus car fight. It's ecosystem versus ecosystem. Tesla makes brilliant EVs with a famously tight software loop. Xiaomi spent a decade making phones people live in, and now it's plugging a car straight into that daily habit. If you're already in Xiaomi's world, the YU7 doesn't feel like learning a new platform. It feels like unboxing a bigger screen with wheels. Combine that with pricing that undercuts the incumbent, and you've got a classic disruptor recipe. A product that meets the table stakes, shows off 2 or 3 wow features, then asks for a little less money. That's not a gimmick, that's a wedge. So how does the incumbent respond when a wedge starts prying at its bestseller? Tesla strikes back. Tesla didn't sit still. It rarely does. The answer arrived fast. Model YL, a 6-seat variant tailored for China's family calculus. More room, 3 rows, a big CLTC range figure that neutralizes headline comparisons, and a price point engineered to defend the middle of the market where Model Y makes its living. But Tesla's real weapon has never just been a new trim. It's the pricing lever. If margins and inventory allow, Tesla can move stickers in a way that instantly changes buyer math. We've seen that movie before. A small cut turns fence sitters into buyers and pushes rivals into uncomfortable choices. The whispers about an even cheaper Model Y later in the year add to the tension. Whether those whispers become reality or just keep shoppers guessing, they still slow a rival's clean shot at a crossover victory. And there's another dimension: the supercharger network, the brand gravity, the perception of reliability in software updates. Love it or dunk on it, Tesla still carries a trust halo in EV basics that new entrants have to earn mile by mile. So with both sides armed, Xiaomi with momentum and Musk with levers, what actually decides the next round? The backlog trap. Ironically, Xiaomi's biggest headache is the same thing that made headlines: demand. The wait list stretched past a year for many trims. That's great for a sales slide deck. It's awful for a family that needs a car before next summer. It got so tight that Li Jun, Xiaomi's CEO, did something almost unthinkable for a new automaker. He told buyers who can't wait to consider rivals. He even name-checked Model Y. Read that again. The challenger told customers to buy the incumbent if they needed wheels now. That's not weakness, it's honesty. And weirdly, that kind of candor can keep brand love intact even when delivery windows don't. But make no mistake, it has a cost. Some shoppers won't wait through a 56-59-week timeline, no matter how slick the spec sheet is. They'll defect to the car they can drive next month. There's a second risk: frustration. Deposit terms, expectations, and social media amplify every rough edge. If production doesn't ramp fast enough, the narrative can flip from "wow, huge demand" to can't deliver. Xiaomi knows this. It's racing the clock to turn orders into keys. And yet we've seen this movie once already in a sedan. The precedent: SU7 versus Model 3. Xiaomi's first act, the SU7 sedan, didn't just prove it could build a car. It proved it could steal share from Tesla's Model 3 in China, with a similar price and feature squeeze. That wasn't a fluke, it was a blueprint. Translate that playbook to the higher stakes SUV segment and you get the YU7. The signal here is not Tesla loses. It's Tesla's default answer can be challenged. When the default gets challenged, one of two things happens. Either the incumbent reasserts its lead with better value, or the market fragments and the new brand carves out a durable lane. Either way, buyers win. So what flips the scoreboard from pressure to overtake, or stops it cold? What could flip the script? Scenarios. Scenario 1. Xiaomi scales faster than anyone expects. Production catches up, wait times compress, and weekly prints push closer to Tesla's brand totals. In that world, YU7's momentum turns from headlines into habit, and the market share line keeps tilting. Scenario 2. Tesla pulls the price pin. A targeted cut, temporary incentives, or a new base Model Y undercuts the YU7's pricing story. Fence-sitters jump, July's softness vanishes, and Xiaomi's path to a near-term crossover gets delayed into next year. Scenario 3. Feature fight. If Xiaomi moves 8S capability forward quickly, with visible everyday wins, and Tesla's local software cadence feels slower, the tech narrative shifts. On the flip side, if Tesla rolls meaningful software improvements or a refreshed interior/comfort package, it can lock back the family segment that Model YL is aiming at. Scenario 4. Regulatory or policy wrinkles. EV incentives, charging standards, or regional compliance changes can jiggle demand. Not glamorous, but powerful. And then there's the rumor wildcard. Rumors suggest Tesla is mulling additional trims, or a stripped-down Y variant later this year. Reports claim Xiaomi is pushing production targets higher to drain that waitlist. Both can be true. Both can change timelines fast. This isn't chess by mail, it's speed chess. Which brings us to what matters beyond the quarter. Why this fight matters. More than specs. This is the first time a phone-era giant is credibly pressuring Tesla right at the core of its volume product in its toughest market. That matters for one reason: ecosystem gravity. If Xiaomi can make the car feel like an extension of the devices people already love and do it while hitting the right price, then the EV purchase stops being a once every 6 years decision and starts feeling like the next upgrade in your digital life. Tesla knows this game. It built its own ecosystem long before most legacy brands knew what over-the-air meant. But the YU7 forces a new question. What happens when the ecosystem competition isn't GM or VW? It's a company that already lives in your pocket. The answer won't be decided by press releases. It'll be decided by weekly insurance prints, 6-month delivery windows, and 1,000 little moments in showrooms and apps. That's how habits shift. So where does that leave you, the buyer watching from the sidelines? If you're shopping an electric SUV in China, you just won the lottery. The YU7's launch yanked the market into motion. Tesla fired back with a new variant, and if history repeats, still has pricing moves in reserve. The result is pressure on both sides to deliver more for less, faster. Here's the thought I can't shake. The moment a smartphone brand made Tesla flinch wasn't a glitch, it was a preview. not of Tesla's downfall, of a new phase where car companies compete like tech companies, fast cycles, ecosystem lock-in, and features that evolve as quickly as the phones in our hands. The companies that thrive won't just build better cars, they'll build better daily rituals. If this helped, hit like so more people find it. Subscribe if you want more straight-shooting breakdowns like this. No fluff, just the pressure points that matter. See you in the next one. Drive safe.